Prince Harry has visited his dad at Buckingham Palace just 24 hours after King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. And let's bring in presenter Piers Morgan now in London. Piers, good evening to you, London time. Thanks so much for your time as always, my friend. Look, what a 24 hours, huh?
You know what? It's been a massive shock to the country, Carl, I've got to say, because if you think about the last few years of the royal family and the monarchy, we lost Prince Philip, huge blow, not least to the Queen, who then died not long after the great rock of her life. Then we've had a variety of scandals. You've had Harry and Meghan with all that they got up to. You've had Prince Andrew, of course, with the Epstein scandal. You then had other health crises. You've had Sarah, the Duchess of York, with 2 cancer battles she's had in the last year. Then you had the Princess of Wales, Kate, who's been hospitalised and is now out of action until Easter, we're told. And now, having just heard 2 weeks ago that King Charles was having benign prostate treatment, which was very straightforward and not remotely of concern, we now hear he's got cancer found through that procedure somewhere else. And it's very worrying. You know, the fact that Prince Harry has flown straight in from Los Angeles says to me this must be a very serious situation for all of them.
Look, Prince Harry, as you mentioned, arrived. Oh, to be a fly on the wall there. What do you reckon went down?
Well, not a lot went down because apparently they had less than about 35, 40 minutes together at the palace. He came straight from the airport, apparently, from Los Angeles to Heathrow and then straight in to see his father before his father was then seen leaving for Sandringham, the big estate they have in Norfolk. So we don't know how long Harry will be here, whether that's it, and he goes back to Los Angeles, but he certainly had a meeting with his father. He'd also spoken to him on the phone when his father rang to tell him the news. But whatever's gone on there in that first conversation has prompted Harry to get straight on the first plane that he can and travel 6,000 miles. I don't think you do that if you're not very concerned. And we know from when Charles 2 weeks ago announced the benign prostate situation, Harry didn't bother getting on a plane then. So clearly a very different situation here. We still don't know what this cancer is. And, you know, I think it's probably incumbent on the palace to clarify that, because they were very specific about what the prostate issue was. And now they're saying, well, it's cancer, but we can't tell you which one. You know, if they're trying to really, as they say, and I believe this, they want to have an impact on other people who may be suffering the same thing, I think they should probably say, well, this is what it is.
I thought maybe it might be enough to draw the two brothers together, but that hate seems to run deep.
I think, honestly, I tweeted earlier, I think William would rather shoot himself than see his brother right now. I think it is very deep. This is a real sibling war. And frankly, my sympathies are entirely with William. What has he said in public against his brother or his brother's wife? Absolutely nothing. Not one word. What has Harry and Meghan done to William and Kate? A relentless diatribe of public criticism, much of it very spiteful, much of it very personal. Is it any surprise to anybody that William can't stomach the sight of his brother anymore? If that was one of my brothers, I've made it very clear to them. That would be it. And I'm pretty sure they'd feel the same way about me. So it's just, there's certain things you don't do. Trashing your family for years on television around the world and in books and in podcasts and everything else is not conducive to a sibling friendship.
Look, Piers, as you know, this opens the door for so much analysis and reanalysis of the royal family. Can they survive all of this? You know the king. You've spent time with him. How do they navigate this now?
Look, there are lots of imponderables, right? Because he's a 75-year-old man. He's very physically fit. We know that. There's a lot of walking. He's a very healthy guy. But if you're 75 and you get any cancer, it's going to be extremely concerning. The statistics for people at 75 who get any cancer are not great. So there's a lot of concern. I spoke to somebody close to the palace circles last night. Said it all came as a huge shock because he had this prostate procedure. It all seemed to pass off very normally. He was seen the next day when he came out of hospital, all looked absolutely fine. But apparently what happened was they took some tissue, which they do as a matter of course when you have that procedure, just to check there's nothing else going on. And that's where they discovered this new cancer, nothing to do with the prostate. Now, it's been speculated it might be bladder cancer, because often that can show up apparently when you have that prostate procedure. Sometimes people do have an underlying bladder cancer issue. Maybe it is that. Again, that's why I kind of think they should clarify it. But the repercussions here are potentially enormous. You know, I've only had 2 monarchs in my lifetime, and this guy has been waiting over 70 years for his chance to reign. And now within 17 months, he's facing this huge personal situation, which has already led him to cancel all public engagements. They've got some big tours coming up this year, not least to potentially Australia. And what happens to that? Will he be able to function his duties as king? Can he meet the Prime Minister if he's undergoing heavy chemotherapy, for example? All these are questions we don't know the answers to. But what we do know is that there's a fragility now, Carl, at the top of this family, because Charles deliberately narrowed it down to the big ones at the top, and he got rid of all the lesser ranking royals, and the special councillors that he has, the state councillors, used to be quite a few of them that could step in and help if he's incapacitated. Now there's only 4. There's Queen Camilla, there's Prince William, and then there's the King's 2 siblings, Edward and Anne. Andrew can't because he's already been thrown off the picture. So he has a small number of state councillors. And then, of course, should the worst case scenario happen of all and Charles die, we move to King William. But, you know, I hate to be a doom-monger, and I'm not going to be a doom-monger, except to say, again, in a worst-case scenario, if something then happened to William, then we really are into a massive constitutional crisis, because his kids would be too old to reign. They're the next 3 in line. And actually, if you keep going down the line, Carl, you get then to Harry and Meghan. And I'm not quite sure anyone in Britain is ready for Queen Meghan.
That's a dream come true for you, isn't it, Piers?
It would be the moment I emigrate to Australia, Carl. So Britain's loss would be your gain, the people of Australia.
Well, I would welcome you with open arms. Good to talk to you, Piers. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Good on you.
All the best.
Yeah, he did appear well, and that was the first time he has been seen since his cancer diagnosis was announced by Buckingham Palace. It was not far from where we are at the moment. He was seen inside a royal vehicle along with Queen Camilla. They made a short journey from Clarence House, just in front of us, onto the Mall and into Buckingham Palace, the King managing a small smile, it seems, as they drove past some of those cameras. Just before that, there was a very rare sighting here in London. Prince Harry is here. He's made the journey across from California upon learning about his father's diagnosis. It's understood they met inside Clarence House for about an hour. Harry was seen going in a Range Rover along with a security vehicle. After that, there was some movement here at Buckingham Palace, a helicopter transporting the King and Queen Camilla to Sandringham, a few hours north of London. That's where the King was before he made the journey here to London yesterday morning, our time, to commence his cancer treatment. We know he'll be away from public engagements for some time, and other senior royals will be stepping up, including Queen Camilla. Today it was Princess Anne at an event at Windsor handing out honours, and then at a community event at Nottinghamshire. Tomorrow, Carl and Sarah, it will be Prince William resuming his royal duties. He'll be at an event at Windsor before heading to London, not far from where we are, for a gala dinner where he is due to give a speech.
Edward, thank you. Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh, my goodness. Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
That never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?